And my friends, to set the tone of this inaugural session of G20 Interfaith Summit, I would like to invite the President of G20 Interfaith Forum, W. Calderam Jr., to address the gathering. I request all of you to welcome the President of G20 Interfaith Forum with a big round of applause.
So, with apologies to Dr. Gautam Bapat, I'm going to do this in a little bit different way than the program unfolds. In the United States, we have a practice, if you're doing an appellate argument, you can reserve a portion of your time. So I'm going to just say a few words and introduce what's happening in this session. Let the others speak, and I'll say a few words again at the end. But let me first begin by apologizing. Catherine Marshall, who is the vice president of our organization and would generally be here, faced a conflict. It was the first week of class for her, and she couldn't get away. So she is not with us, but we have a film clip from her taken in her home. I was there, and this is a wonderful piece of background on the history of the G20 that I think will form a fitting beginning for our session today. I need to thank her for all she has done and then thank others, but I hope you will feel invited into her home as we get her perspectives. Catherine is truly one of the global figures on religion and development. She worked at the World Bank for many years. She worked with the president of the World Bank, who first started really focusing on the relationship of religion and development, and she has had a very significant role to play. Staff, I call them the two Milinds, Milind Pandey and Milind Prate. Milind Prate, you just participated in the meditation session, and I have to tell him I am particularly grateful this morning. You know, when you run an organization and an event as big as this one, there are little pressures, and it's been good for me to have a little bit of decompression time in this beautiful hall where so much is symbolized about the relationship of spirituality and other forms of knowledge, and I hope that will be a fitting setting for us all. So, as I say, I'm reserving a portion of my time. I'll be followed by the film clip from Catherine Marshall, and then the Honorable Swami Amritaswarupananda Puri. I hope that was reasonably close. I am not gifted with Indian names, but we're very gifted to have him here. He played a critical role in the C20, the Civil Society 20 of this year's India G20 event, and I think it will be really valuable for us to have his perspective, and then I'll say a few words following that. So I don't know if we can just go to the film clip, or if Dr. Bapat, if you wanted to say something about Catherine first. I think maybe we can just go straight to the film clip of Catherine Marshall. Okay.
Helping to manage the most urgent.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
So you want to play us the video now?
Yes.
Okay, may I request my technical team to kindly play the video of Professor and Senior Fellow of Executive Director, World Faiths Development Dialogue at Berkeley Center for Religion, Peace and World Affairs, Georgetown University, USA,
the G20
Dr. Catherine Marshall.
The G20 Interfaith Forum's journey, since it was launched in 2014, has taken us to many issues and to the G20 journey is approaching a 10-year mark. So it's a good time for us to take stock and to look to the future. So first, why the G20? The G20 is part of the global governance structure. It's an important part of it. It was established in 1999, largely with the objective of helping to manage the most urgent crises facing the world. But since 1999, it's evolved and particularly was reshaped by the 2008 economic crisis. Over the years, its scope has broadened so that it now basically takes in the full global agenda, which means conflict, geopolitics, economic matters, which are a central focus, but also climate change, social policy, etc. The G20 was designed to be flexible. It rotates every year to a different country as the host. It has no permanent secretariat. And it is designed to be more inclusive than the G7, G8. In other words, it has a number of other major countries of the world, which is why it's 20. It also, though, is less inclusive, clearly, than the United Nations and some other organizations which have a much larger membership. So it fits into these different categories in important ways. So the idea behind the G20 is that it is a meeting of leaders. It is focused very much on the individuals. It is focused on their summit, which happens once a year. This summit of leaders prepared by the Sherpas who move towards the summit are able to have a real engagement as part of this governance system. So that's why the G20. So why interfaith? Why religion? The core idea is that the worlds of religion belong at the central policy-making tables of the world. The estimates distinctive flavor, should not and have not historically been part of these decision-making bodies. But the practice, the reality is that religious institutions are involved in every one of the critical issues that face us today, whether it is conflict, clearly, peace building, education, climate, social protection, care of the most vulnerable. And for that reason, drawing the idea of the G20 Interfaith Forum is to draw on the best of the work and experience from these worlds of religion and to bring them into the global governance process. But that takes us to the next question, which is, how does the G20 Interfaith Forum fit within this broader constellation of institutions, entities, etc., that are part of the G20 system, the G20 universe writ large? Because over the years there have been many different organizations that have basically taken on a role within the G20 system. There are ministerials, so different ministers, health, education, environment, etc., who meet to provide counsel to the G20 leaders when they meet. There are special working groups, for example, on governance and corruption. There are also a series of engagement groups. And one suggestion has been that the worlds of religion should be part of those engagement groups. So, for example, the C20, which is civil society, or even the B20, which is business, or W20, which is women, or Y20, which is youth. And we have in fact worked with particularly the T20, which is a remarkable set of think tanks that support the G20 process. However, our view is that the perspectives, the experience of this religious world, the interfaith world particularly, that brings them together, deserves an independent voice, doesn't fit in any of the other categories. And therefore the G20 Interfaith Forum has continued as an independent but coordinated part of the G20 process. There has been discussion as to whether it should be recognized formally as part of the G20 process as an engagement group. And from various perspectives, both the G20, which would need at this point, we are very much part of the G20 process, but without the formality of a formal engagement group. And this is the way in which we have operated now for some years. So what does the G20 Interfaith Forum do, and what is its end objective? The Interfaith Forum began in 2014 largely as an academic effort. A group of scholars of religion and some religious leaders who met roughly in the same period as the summit, but without any direct engagement between the meetings, the forum, and the G20 process itself. Over the years, moving from Australia to Turkey to China to Germany as the host for the G20, this has changed. And particularly after Germany, the idea, both coming from outside and coming from the network, the body that represents the G20 Interfaith Forum, that there needed to be a closer relationship, and that the idea for the G20 leaders. And that has changed the ways in which the G20 Interfaith Forum and its advisory council has worked over the years, with a progressive sharpening of the analytic work and the effort to develop policy recommendations and to convey them to the Sherpas and thus to the G20 leaders. So there has been, as I said, a steady increase in the ambition and in the mechanisms that the G20 Forum represents. So that takes me to the next question of what are the development goals, 169 targets that cover pretty much every issue from peace to people to prosperity to economics, etc. There is not a single one where religious communities, religious ideas, religious leaders, religious actors are not involved in some way. But clearly there is a need for an effort like the G20 Interfaith Forum, which draws on networks of different communities across the world. There is a need for us to focus. And in this way, first, we have a very clear central focus, which is on the most vulnerable communities in the world. The refugees, for example, children who are victims of violence, the women who are not included in social life and communities in many parts of the world, those who are left behind. And so this focus on drawing attention, keeping attention on the world's most vulnerable, on those who are disadvantaged. That is the central message and the central focus of the G20 Interfaith Forum from year to year. The ethical but also the very practical issues that are involved. We have focused over the years on the climate issue, and particularly in that sense on the Interfaith Rainforest Initiative, which is a partnership that involves United Nations, local communities, religious communities, indigenous people in trying to protect the lungs of the earth, which is the rainforest. We focused on refugee issues, on forced migration, on trafficking, on issues of the food crisis. So a combination of issues that are part of urgent issues that demand action, where the G20 leaders and where religious leaders working together can make a difference, but also focusing on the long-term issues, those issues that really reflect the deeper causes behind today's most urgent problems on the global agenda. So that is the basic objective, to be selective, to focus on the issues where religious communities have experience on the ground, have analytic work through the academic side, have prophetic voices coming from wise religious leaders, All of those issues together present the broad agenda, and each year, depending on the most urgent priorities, we focus on bringing the most urgent, the most compelling issues to the attention of the G20 leaders through the Sherpas, as well as through the media of the world, and through communicating with communities inside but also beyond the G20, for example, through the African Union and other African countries. So that brings us to looking at how does the G20 Interfaith Forum work, and where do we see ourselves going in the future. The G20 Forum has an advisory council that has expanded over the years with each G20 meeting, with each forum that is very international, that has people coming from different parts of the world and from different sectors. So scholars, religious leaders, activists, a whole set of different communities and people. But above all, we see ourselves as what we call a network of networks, because there are so many powerful networks working, for example, on climate, on refugee issues, on children, etc. We seek to bring the best of those ideas into the G20 process. So that is the way we work. There's a very small secretariat with very few people who are keeping the trains moving, making sure that working groups, for example, bring their insights. We work through an annual forum in most cases, in other words, an event which brings everything together, but also through participation in a wide range of other meetings at regional level, at country level, some of them participating in global events. For example, the Global Refugee Forum, which will be taking place in December, but a number of other issues around the United Nations, the multilateral development banks, etc. So that is the way that the G20 Interfaith Forum works. It's not producing work itself, that's not the objective, but it is to try to draw on this very rich patchwork, mosaic of different activities that involve an element of the religious world, and particularly the interfaith efforts to bring together wisdom from different communities. So, looking to the future, where do we see ourselves going? This year, the host for the G20 Interfaith, the G20 is India. And in December, the baton, the leadership, will pass to Brazil. And the year after, it will go to South Africa. In other words, the rotation continues. And we in the G20 Interfaith Forum see ourselves focusing very much on both the country level, in other words, the host country activities, but also on the G20 community at large, and through that at the global agenda, epitomized in the Sustainable Development Goals, but also in a number of the other decision processes, for example, the economic and social communities that are seeking to stabilize, to move the world forward towards reforms. Our objective is to pursue continuing analysis, but also a sharpening of specific ideas and recommendations to take on new issues that have urgency in any particular year, and to work more deliberately to ensure that the recommendations that we make are conveyed effectively in a dialogue process with the G20 leadership and with the broader communities that they represent. So the inspiration, the basic idea for the G20 Interfaith Forum is that this remarkable, complex, diverse world of religious communities has too often been excluded from the major policy centers, the major policy-making bodies in the world, and we are seeking effective ways to bring that experience, that wisdom, what we call this prophetic voice that looks beyond the most immediate issues towards a brighter and a bolder future. We're working to bring the network of networks together to bring the wisdom, the experience that they represent into this particular forum, which is the G20 process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I'm sure it would have been more clear now to all of us that what exactly we are trying to achieve here. Thank you very much, Madam Catherine Marshall, for enlightening us today on this important occasion. And now, my friends, it is my good fortune that I would like to invite the important speaker of this session. Today we have here the galaxy of people present here. Honorable Swami Atma Swarupananda Puriji. But before I invite him to address the gathering, I would like to share a small, I would say, insight into his life. Swami Amrita Swarupananda Puriji is the Vice Chancellor of Mata Amritanandamayi Math and the President of Amrita Vishwa Vidyapitam. He is the head disciple of renowned humanitarian and spiritual leader, Shri Mata Amritanandamayi Devi ji. He has been living in Amrit Puri Ashram since inception, that is in late 1970s. He holds a master's in philosophy and is a renowned author and translator. Has written The Irresistible Attraction of Divinity in year 2019. The Color of Rainbow is also as well as Amma's biography. He has also translated it into English more than 10 volumes of the conversations between Amma and devotees, for which he has also served as a compiler. He is the magnificent singer and composer of bhajans and has traveled around the world more than 30 times with Amma in her service. Please put your hands together and welcome, with a big round of applause, my friends, the President of Amrita Vishwa Vidyapitam, Honorable Swamiji.
Premamritanandamayyai nityam namo namaha. I humbly bow down to my Guru, Amma, Shri Mata Amritanandamayi Devi, the C20 chair under India's G20 presidency 2023. My namaskarams, love and greetings to Shri Vishwanath Karad and Shri Ko Durham, and respected religious leaders on stage, and dignitaries of the stage, brothers and sisters, I stand before you to highlight the remarkable outcomes achieved through the C20 engagement group under India's G20 presidency 2023. I will also talk about the role of faith in addressing the challenges our communities face and the importance of the involvement of faith as part of international processes such as UN SDG, G20, G7, etc. And I would like to differ from my previous speaker. We did have interactions with other religious groups, other religious leaders, and we did include their views in the policy pack, which is available on our website. Under the able leadership of India, the G20 has recognized the significance of engaging diverse perspectives to tackle the multifaceted issues of our time. The C20, representing civil society organizations, has contributed significantly to this dialogue, channeling the voices and concerns of people from various walks of life. Through its 16 working groups, the C20 has focused on critical areas such as equitable development, climate action, digital inclusion, and gender equality. The outcomes achieved through the C20 engagement group have been truly remarkable. We have witnessed a renewed commitment to sustainable development with a strong emphasis on addressing the needs of the most vulnerable populations. Collaborative efforts have been initiated to accelerate the transition towards clean energy, making significant strides in combating climate change. The digital divide is being bridged, ensuring that technology benefits all members of society. Moreover, gender equality has been underscored as a fundamental principle for building inclusive economies and societies. In addressing the question of faith and its role in addressing challenges faced by our communities, we must recognize the inherent power individuals and communities to engage in acts of social justice, humanitarianism, and sustainable development. However, I want to highlight one point which I think is most important regarding faith-based solutions. Objectively speaking, religious faiths have seemingly contradictory approaches which we all have to accept. Nevertheless, the fundamental principle of all religions is spirituality or compassion towards fellow human beings and nature. If we move past the superficial differences, we will find the unifying principle that is the same in all religions. Religious faiths should give more importance to self-transformation than selfish and narrow-minded views. Self-transformation alone will help humanity to grow out of lower emotions such as hate, revenge, exploitation, and so forth, and gains purity in outlook. This, in turn, will help us focus on common goals and the common good. So it is essential to delve deeper past the surface of religions to fathom the real meaning and the essence they convey. My master, my guru, Amma, the C20 chair, says, looking down at other religions is like saying, my mother is beautiful and others and your mother is ugly. So that kind of attitude must go. It must be removed. This change in attitude will foster values such as empathy, compassion, and solidarity among their followers while embracing diversity and inclusivity and encouraging a collective effort toward positive change. By integrating faith into international processes, we tap into a powerful force that can help bridge gaps, promote understanding, and advance the shared goals of humanity. But for this, mere intellectual understanding or discussion is not enough. The intellectual understanding must filter into one's heart and need to be expressed as compassion, evenness of vision, understanding. And we should also understand diversity doesn't mean difference or division. Diversity means uniqueness. Everything is unique. So faith-based organizations' involvement is paramount in international processes such as the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the G20, G7, and others. Their contributions can bring grassroots insights and mobilize resources, thereby driving localized actions and amplifying the impact of global initiatives. In the C20 chairs onwards, together we created awareness about the need to embrace a more compassionate approach in all areas of life, and were able to incorporate the aspect of compassion into all its activities effortlessly. One key insight from the deliberations was that to ensure humanity's long-term existence and safety, it must embrace certain overarching values and principles and work together as a unified whole. The C20 India has published a 240-page policy pack encapsulating policies from the 16 working groups developed in collaboration with 6,000 plus CSOs and other organizations for the purview of the G20. The policy pack was released during the C20 final summit held in Jaipur with 1,090 attendees. Over the past 8 months, C20 reached out to more than 4.5 million people, including representatives of small grassroots and large-scale CSOs, government, multilateral agencies such as the UN, experts, academics, youth, students, and other G20 working groups and engagement groups. From January until July 2023, 12,040 plus events were conducted, including policy dialogues, chowpals, sahajachalas, and mass outreach programs, Jan Bhagidari, in every state of India and abroad, with 584 policy discussions. In addition, our organization, the Mata Amritanandamayi Mutt, conducted a worldwide grassroots survey across 43 countries and published 822 responses. I must say that Amma's leadership provided many unique and valuable contributions, including a basis firmly rooted in compassion and humanistic values. Overall, 154 countries participated in C20, illuminating the globe with the C20 tagline, "You are the light." This is the first time C20 has gathered so many international participants attending in person and online events. Both the G20 and C20 taglines, Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, One Earth, One Family, One Future, and You Are the Light, respectively, indicate the importance of every individual and their place in the world. C20 started with an initial outreach of 150,000 plus CSOs registered in India alone, and international organizations that participated in previous years. 10,670 mass outreach campaigns across India and abroad focused on various areas such as health and environment, democracy, gender equality, interfaith dialogue, sense of service, and technology. C20 India's ethos of inclusivity and collaboration was manifested in inviting all participating CSOs to share worldwide best practices or udaharans and white papers. Around 500 udaharans and 60 white papers have been gathered, published, and freely available. This indicates the spirit of G20 tagline, one world, one family, one future, an ethos that can only be achieved through working collectively with open mutual sharing. In conclusion, the outcomes of C20 engagement group under India's G20 presidency have demonstrated the potential of diverse voices coming together to address global challenges. Faith was vital in this endeavor as a unifying and transformative force. By engaging faith-based organizations in international processes such as the UN SDGs, G20, G7, and beyond, we unlock a powerful catalyst for positive change that can help us build a more just, inclusive, and sustainable world for all. Let me conclude with the chair's words, Amma's words. Nature is our first mother. She nurtures us throughout our lives. Just as a child is obligated to his birth mother, we should all feel an obligation and responsibility towards Mother Nature. If we forget this responsibility, it is equal to forgetting our own self. If we forget nature, we will cease to exist, for to do so is to walk towards death. So establish a loving companionship with the nature and learn to be compassionate. That will take care of climate change and gradually lead us to sustainable development and resilience. Thank you so much. Om Amriteshwari Namaha. Om Premamritanandamaye Nityam Namo Namaha.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for guiding us, Swamiji, with your beautiful words. And now I would like to once again request Kol Dharamji to share his thoughts the way we are going to move forward in this G20 Interfaith Summit.
Well, I think this session has been very helpful in terms of laying out what we're about, what we're trying to do. My few remarks here will be, in some sense, in the form of a vote of thanks. So can't be too thankful for myself, but I am very thankful for Swami Amrita. Now this time, I told him I wouldn't get this right twice. Amrita Swarapananda Puri. I think one of the things I think I want to really emphasize, as you listen to the scope of what he's talked about and what the C20 has done this year in India, I think it's an example of what we need to learn from India. He started out in a way by pointing out that, and we didn't need to give the impression that the C20 was not taking religion into account. But I think one of the things that the setting in India has done is made the importance of faith and religion even more significant. And we're humbled by the magnitude of what you're able to do and have been able to do, and we hope that we can continue to reinforce and expand and do things along the same line. I think what I wanted to bring out is just two or three things. One, what's important is bringing out the best of religion, the best of religious history, the best of religion in being able to contribute to global policy. This entails a responsibility on the part of religious voices to delve deeper, as the Swami said, having a good and positive attitude. It means doing real intellectual work. And we're thankful for what the C20 is doing, and we're thankful for what our working groups are able to do. We're thankful also for the opportunities that we have here. I really like the phrase, "You are the light," that he shared with us, and we hope that we can help add to that light. We're thankful for all of you for being here. I think one of the major points, as I said last night, and I want to reiterate now, we have a tremendous opportunity to learn from India and from spirituality, from the linkage between nature, science, and today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kolderam Jr. Thank you very much for sharing that thought with us. And my friends, yes, indeed, it is very important, as he rightly said, we will have to explore the linkage between nature, science, and world peace. And I'm sure you all are aware. I would like to have your attention for next few minutes. My friends, I'm sure the format of this G20 summit, after this inaugural session is over, we all are going to split in various groups where specific topics would be discussed. And there are many topics, many rooms exactly below this particular auditorium where these discussions would be happening. Yet another topic is social cohesion, stable societies, and religion. So there are many topics we can explore, that many discussions that can happen. I'm sure that there are many hurdles in the path of world peace. There are religions, there are geographical tensions, there are, I would say, democratical issues, and these are just some of them. There are many such issues. Everyone present here today plays their small role in trying to solve these issues. But my friends, here is a man on stage who has walked that extra mile that must be walked and work toward the world peace, work toward the humanity. Mr. Rahul Karad, who is present here among us today, has been trying really hard for last more than a decade now to bring in the dialogue. Dialogue is one of the most important tools to resolve the conflicts and come above the tensions. My friends, Sri Rahul V. Karad has created and established many such platforms on which this dialogue can happen between the people. Bharatiya Chhatra Sansad, where students of this country can have a dialogue with the political leaders to minimize the gap. I'm sure we all are aware that there has been issues between various states of our country. Unless and until all states come together for a common cause, it is difficult for us to progress as one nation. He has been bringing the thought our traditions. I shared with you in the morning that renaming our country from India to Bharat is one of that thought. But I would like to share with you that bringing all the states together is the cause that he was having in his mind. And I'm really happy to share with you, just few days ago, we had witnessed a grand conclave of National Legislators Conference. My friends, please pay attention. For the very first time in the independent history of this country, the MLAs and MLCs of all the states of our country came together on one single platform to have a dialogue with only one vision and one mission, that is the progress of our country. The National Legislators Conference saw a grand success. I'm sure many of you could not witness that particular congregation, so I would like to take the help of a small film, and I would like to request my team if they can please show us that the glimpses of National Legislators Conference. Let's enjoy the visuals. I'm sure the audio would be coming right up. But as you can see, the grandeur of this congregation, where all the MLAs and MLCs across the nation, I'm really happy to share with you more than 2,000 MLAs and MLCs gathered together across the polity. Just look at the grandeur, and I would say the leaders across the party line coming together and discuss the common cause of nation building. Okay, it seems there is some technical glitch, but I'm sure we will come back to you with that film. And it is really my good fortune that we have the presence of Sri Rahul Karat sir on the stage. Please put your hands together and welcome with a big round of applause, my friends, the Managing Trustee and Executive President of Miles MIT and Executive President of MIT World Peace University, the Chief Initiator of National Legislators Conference, Sri Rahul V. Karat.
मैं भी शुरू करता हूँ. Thank you. जननी जन्मभूमिश्च स्वर्गादपि गरीयसी. On behalf of the bodies of trustees and our beloved founder, the creator of this World Peace Dome, all the staff, students of MIT World Peace University, MIT ADT University, and various other institutions, let me compliment Professor Cole Durham, one of the senior researcher, thinker, philosopher, and who has dedicated his life for this mission of interfaith. Because of his efforts, this conference of G20 Interfaith we are able to hold it here. Thank you, Professor Cole, for your efforts. I welcome you once again on behalf of all this collective strength of this institution. Thank you so much. So we have another very important guest sitting on the dais. Just now, Swami Amrita Varsapurananda Puriji, President of Amrita Vishwavidyalaya. Just now we heard him. I wish to welcome him also from my bottom of heart. We heard also Catherine Marshall, the Professor and Senior Fellow of Executive Director from Georgetown University. I think she shared her, the expressions here. Also we have Dr. Dalbir Singh Ji, who is also one of the like-minded soul, who is committed for this very mission of interfaith and we as a world and whole society as one family. Thank you, Honorable Dalbir Singh Ji, for your participation. And on the dais, we have Honorable Sheikh Al-Islam Al-Shakur Parshad Ji, a spiritual leader of Muslims in Azerbaijan. And thank you so much for your participation. We have our own, who is very well associated with MIT World Peace University from many years, Honorable Archbishop Flex Machado Ji. Thank you so much for your participation. We are grateful that you are always there to support this very idea of MIT World Peace University and the mission of our founder, Dr. Vishwanath Karat. I have no words to express my happiness, my dear friends, particularly all the delegates from different parts of the country. Our Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Dr. Chitnis, Professor Pandey, and many other leaders, they have put a lot of efforts to construct and build up this very historic, important conference happening in Amrit Kal. That is also one very important thing, 75 years of independence. What a great news yesterday. Last almost 3 years, we have been discussing, my dear friends, that can we change the name of India to Bharat? And we have been championing this very thought process last almost 3 years under the aegis of MIT World Peace University. And I'm very happy today that truly if we have to really go towards this very meaning of Bharat and the very mission and the purpose of our overall ethos of this country, I think but this such dialogue will definitely take us to a different level. There are heard some members discussing, but I always believe that what this example here in front of your eyes, one of the world's biggest dome for the humanity, what our founder has created, and we all are witnessing sitting in this very beautiful monumental structure. And almost over 12 years he worked on this very mission, my dear friends. The very one word of Swami Vivekananda, the unification of science and spirituality alone can bring peace to the mankind. This one word really, inspired in his lifetime. And at the age of 10, 12, he started his journey. And today what you see through this his manifestation, this edifice, what is constructed here as a World Peace Dome, which is one of the unique structure in the history of the mankind, what we see here. I wish to communicate to all the students and the staff idea of world peace ahead. This laboratory of the world peace here is one very important aspect, but to take this very mission ahead, we have carved one syllabus, and I wish that all the world universities, I was told there are over 20,000 universities worldwide, my dear friends. If they truly resolve and some such syllabus if we can adopt, I think many changes we can see in next 10, 20, 30 years down the line. Because we as intelligentsia, we as academia particularly, we have to understand that the some such practical approaches if we adopt in our education system without any ego, without any such boundaries amongst ourselves, that I may be a proud Hindu, somebody is a Muslim, and as we all know that the religion is a way of life. Religion is never bigger than, humanity. Any religion for that matter is never, and rather every religion teaches humanity. And I personally, with my little fundamental understanding, I feel somewhere in the journey of lifetime, we from the ages, with whatever we as a human being, with our own selfish thought process, sometime maybe we have adulterated very purest those fundamental, our scriptures of all the religions, I want to say that. And we as now the 21st century and the modern, with the current times, we all need to think on these lines, my dear friends, that with the time, how do we really change? And whatever that, those bad elements in every religion, how can we really filter? Just now, little film, what we saw just now, all the lawmakers, particularly even the politicians of the world, we all have to really understand. In my country, the biggest curse today, I feel that the casteism and the communalism. And in public life, in politics particularly, this is the biggest challenge. We all know that, my dear friends. How the votes are given to the distributed on the basis of caste and religion. So how do we really change that? So I am giving this direct question and the thought process in front of you, my dear process, that we all have to really provoke and think in this direction. And that's how, for the first time, United States, I must make a mention, one of the very important democracy in the world, a very mature democracy, where two political parties and one language. In my country here in Bharat, my dear friends, we have 100 political parties and 100 languages. In last 75 years, it never happened that all the lawmakers, we have 4,500 lawmakers, United States has some 7,500 state senators. except the congressman. So all these MLAs, particularly for the first time after independence, they gathered. And on the similar line, this very mission, the peace building, is a very ultimate state for any society to evolve or is a mission of this very MIT World Peace University and World Peace Dome, my dear friends. So we really need to think, as even the political parties in my country, one of the such a over a billion population we have. So the interfaith such dialogues are so important, and I believe that this particular monument, it took some 12 to 15 years for our founder to create, and it is not easy to make many such monuments all over the world. But I was just thinking yesterday, what can be the another solution? I mean, every cities of the world, it may really sound little utopian and imaginary, but my feeling, can we have the gardens of peace? Various beautiful gardens where all such statues of all these great men of the world, if we can install, and the youngsters of our country can be guided in that direction. Right now, here Baba Bulle Shah Ji, Gautam Buddha, Prabhu Ramchandra, Jesus Christ. What a unique message, my dear friends. We are sitting under this very beautiful dome, and all of us, our energy is getting multiplied here at this place, and we are carrying some message. So the gardens of peace, can we have gardens of peace? Something like that. Even I am thinking about the politics. I said the political leaders, we have the issues of reservations, we have issues of the casteism. So how do we really deal with such important issues? And politics plays a very important role. So politicians and the political parties and political party presidents, their role is most important in the vastness of the globe. That's close and think in this direction, that the peace syllabus and all such approaches and the intelligentsia, the academia, if they really think in this direction, many good things can happen very soon. That is my belief. And there are only one or two points which I wish to express, and I will stop my speech here. About the religion, what I mentioned, and here, one of the beautiful quote has come in front of me. No religion is bigger than the humanity itself. Better humans at the heart and mind makes better world. So all the students, we really need to my country, but I think we really need to have a deeper involvement, particularly academia of the country and the world, that what is our education system is talking about. Because we as a knowledge society and the world society, so many advancements, the Chandrayaan we celebrated just now, and many other wonderful things are happening. But we as a world and we as a world family and the society and the happiness of all of us, how do we really achieve? So lastly, I just wish to quote one more quotation I want to express here. Peace, harmony, brotherhood are the marks of humanity. They are the heart of every religion. They are the ultimate weapons against all the powerful weapons. So thank you so much. Probable solutions wherein and those can be practical solutions to transform the humanity and the society and the world. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for sharing that thought with us. And thank you very much, I would say, for your commitment and fervor with which you're taking this cause of building the democratic fabric of our nation forward. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. My friends, as I was sharing with you, that today we have the presence of many tall luminaries, and one of such he is the prominent figure in Indian politics and governance. He began his career with a distinguished military service, engaging in counterinsurgency operations, teaching at the Army Combat School, and contributing to military intelligence. Transitioning into politics, he served as the National Secretary of Indian National Congress, the country's largest political party. With an academic background that includes an honors graduate degree in law, the Universal Business School, Dr. Dalbir Singh's international experience includes serving as the observer during the 2004 national elections in Uzbekistan. Let us put our hands together and welcome, with a big round of applause, Honorable Dr. Dalbir Singh ji.
Good morning and namaskar everyone. It's indeed great privilege and honor for me to be here at this forum this morning. At the very outset, I must thank Dr. Vishwanath ji and Mr. Rahul, the kind of inspiration they have given to this world. And when I stand here, I get so much energy on this dome. I'd gone to Vatican 10 years ago. I had also privileged to meet the Pope. And looking at the ceiling, I was wondering, I saw a dome painted by Leonardo da Vinci. And someday, maybe, I'm sure Dr. Karad will find another good Indian painter to paint messages of peace on the ceiling so that we get charged just looking at the ceiling. And I'm also grateful to Dr. Karad for having India its first World Peace University. Peace is the fundamental issue. We can continue debating on everything else, but we all want peace in our lives. We want peace in our peace and development go hand in hand. There is no development without peace. And if there is no development, there is no harmony, there is no prosperity. So fundamental core issue is the peace. But how far have we remained from peace? Starting from centuries, World War I, World War II, 75 million people died, 78 were fatally wounded, crippled for life, and we didn't learn any lessons. There were two major lessons, even from World War II. I'm a warrior myself. One, I reiterated here, there is no glory in war. Okay, I've been a warrior. Warrior produces heroes. I also wore a medal and I felt like a hero. But war also devastates, leaves widows, orphans, destitute. We all yearning for peace. Wars have changed its names. Traditional wars have given way to proxy wars, internal violence, armed conflicts. Look at the world today. We are not at peace with ourselves. We are not at peace with our neighbors. The trust deficit is all-time high. We just don't seem to trust one another as people, as nations, as regions. That's why there's so much of turmoil. There is belligerence, violence, aggression in every part of the world. Somali, Burundi, Nigeria, Sudan, Libya, South China Sea, India, Pakistan, Israel, Palestine, US, Iran, you name it. Are we at peace with ourselves? Are we at peace with our neighbors? No. So first thing is peace. If there is no peace, there can be no harmony. Every other forum loses its meaning. There must be peace, and we must strive to make sure. And now there are new cartels of violence. I'm told in Latin America in the last 15 years, more people have died than all the deaths that have taken place in Iraq and Syria. In Libya and Iraq, there are cartels of violence who are hand in glove with the drug cartels, mafias, criminal gangs, private armies, and often, sometimes with support of political elites, businessmen, administrative structures, all with the vested interests. So where do we stop all this? Look around you. We need to build peace and harmony everywhere. Yes, interfaith dialogue is a very important platform. Very important platform because that could bridge faith, policy and action. It can bring together diverse religions and interfaith forces, voices to explore common grounds so that we are able to meet global challenges very, very effectively. There are numerous challenges facing us today. Geopolitical divergence. This is one of the major issues. Why there are wars, why there is friction, why there are fissures. Geopolitical divergence, terrorism, poverty, pandemics, rampant unemployment. Richest people in the world own more wealth than half of the poorest. There is so much of regional inequity. And if there is inequity, you cannot build islands of heaven in sea of poverty and deprivation. You have to bring inclusivity. You have to take everyone on board. And interfaith dialogue, of course, can play a vital role. It can be a very important platform because it can help people to come to a point that they can be brought to have a shortcoming there as well. Many of our religious leaders also need to deepen their knowledge. I was in Egypt a couple of months ago, and many of them spoke. I come from one community. I do not know enough about my own community. I asked one of my cousins about few questions on my own Guru Granth Sahib, a holy book, that how many times word Ram is repeated in Guru Granth Sahib. Now he has been reading prayers for the last 30 years, he didn't know. So if we do not know enough about our own religion, we obviously do not know enough about others. So if you do not know about others' complexities, ethnicity, and you are the first one to pass judgment, that's where the problems come. So we all have to update knowledge. We also have to learn more. Then only because you impact society. You are influential. You have huge population listening to you, mesmerized by you, charmed by all that you pray. And you can bring together by being very, very important force in their lives. You can bring people together, bury their differences, and because first thing that premise on which interfaith dialogue works is that you recognize that there is a diversity. Like Rahul said, it's very important to recognize that there is a diversity. Multi-ethnic, multilingual, multi-religious, there is diversity. India itself has diversity. We have 4,335 communities and sub-communities, 2,200 dialects, more than all the diversity in the world put together. So we recognize there is a diversity. When there is diversity, there are going to be differences. When there are differences, we have to patch up those differences. We have to prevent conflicts. We have to, and interfaith dialogue can play a very, very important role in firstly preventing. Okay, we have many institutions. I'm sorry to say, United Nations. I wish United Nations could play a role in preventing conflicts. Are we doing it? Even they need major reforms. I've been to United Nations 2 times. They need reforms to keep up with the global challenges. We need more multilateralism. We need more internationalism. We need greater institutions of international security, international peace, and international global legal governance. We need more institutions that are connected to one another without anyone looking partisan or appearing partisan. We're looking for a very neutral, unpartisan world. And one way, that's where you can all play very important. I love my religion. Everyone loves his religion. But we all need to sit together, understand each other's perspectives, different viewpoints, accommodate one another. And there is enough, if to build a world, we build a strong world on peace. I'm sure there is enough for all of us. There is enough room and prosperity, and our own Upanishads, our own inspiration we get from Vasudeva Kutumbakam, one of the strongest words, world is but one family, so let's not destroy this family. We'll be accountable tomorrow to our children. Vacuum in everyone's life, in students, even working people. There is so much spiritual vacuum. That's the vacuum you can pack that vacuum. You can ethics, morality, many of these values that one really strongly counted on many years, generations ago. Your expertise, your wisdom, your training can bring people, together on all some of these issues. And it's possible to peacefully coexist. This is the fundamental parameter on which this entire inter-dialogue faith is based, that we can exist peacefully despite differences. We can live in one family. I have two children, one doesn't wear a turban. Roman Catholic. My father's great-grandfather was a Pathan. My grandmother was a Hindu. My daughter-in-law is a Brahmin. So if we can all get, and we live so happily together. So the nation is an extension of family. So I'm sure peaceful coexistence, respecting diversity, plurality of culture, they can transcend these borders of barriers of culture, barriers of language, barriers of ethnicity. We have one beautiful world. Let's save this world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Dalbir Singh Ji. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom. My friends, I'm really happy to share with you. We now have the presence. We have the presence of Madam Marzia Dalalji, who is representing the Baha'i community on this stage. We have her now in the auditorium. I would like to request her to kindly come up stage, and I would like to request Shri Rahul V. Karat sir to kindly felicitate and welcome her on stage. Please put your hands together and welcome with a round of applause Madam Marzia Dalal. We have three more very special felicitations for which I would like to request on stage Shri Mukesh Sharma ji.
Thank you so much. Yesterday I had introduced you to three of our guests who have come here to attend this meeting, and at my request and Dr. Karat's request, they have Mr. Siddharth Kak to come up on the stage so that Dr. Karat can felicitate you. Thank you so much, sir. Can we have a big round of applause, please, for Dr. Siddharth Kak? Siddharth Kak have been, a long time ago when Doordarshan was there, the sole channel. A Surabhi program went for, I think, how many years? Nearly 10 years. And he and one more anchor, Ms. Shahane, they did it together. Now, may I request Gajen Chauhan ji. Apart from being an actor, Mr. Chauhan is now in the academics. As I told you yesterday, he's a vice chancellor of a university in Haryana, and he also has accepted our request to come down all the way from Rohtak. Thank you so much, sir. Of course, he is the good old Yudhishthir of Mahabharat, the first Mahabharat. Gajen Chauhan ji, no one can forget. Thank you so much, sir. you, Chauhan Sahab. Now I will request the grand old man of the Indian cinema and Chandra Sahab, the man who gave us Tejab, Ek, Do, Teen. The famous song, Madhuri Dixit became Madhuri Dixit. Also, as I told you yesterday, he made his first film, Ankush, where the prayer, which is also being held in all the schools, the prayer is read in the morning. Itni shakti hame dena data ki man ka vishwas kam na ho. Thank you, sir. Sir, आगे.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your presence in this very important summit. My friends, the next important speaker that we have among us is the Archbishop of Vasai, the Secretary General of Catholic Bishops' Conference of India. Archbishop of Vasai, he was ordinated as the Prince of Bombay. He was incardinated to Roman Catholic Diocese of Vasai. He was appointed Archbishop of Nashik. He was ordained as the Bishop of Oswald Cardinal Crisis and appointed the Archbishop of Roman Catholic Diocese of Vasai. We are really honored to have the presence of Archbishop Felix Machado. Please put your hands together and welcome with a round.
I also would like to express my deep gratitude to someone whom I call my revered, in a way, guru for bringing people of all religions together. Our friendship goes for last 40 years, I would say almost. And I have been invited here many times just to share my greetings and my witness of the good work that is done. Filled with deep conviction that our earthly longing for peace, if we persevere in building it, can lead us to lasting peace. It is urgent that peace be given a chance. However, not just once, but repeatedly with renewed vigor. Young and old, rich and poor, and in the world, uninterrupted and increasing scenes of hatred and violence seem to show no sign of abating. Rather, covert and overt armed conflicts continued against the background of the geographical and political tensions that exist in many regions of the world. This reality gives the impression that not only cultural diversity but also religious differences are causes of instability or threats to the prospect of peace. Part of the problem, we are meeting here with the best of intentions against the background of G20 summit, which will take place in a couple of days in our own country. I am proud that my motherland, my country, is the host of this event, because I am happily looking forward with hope that peace will be the topmost priority on the agenda. What is the point of good economic prospects if there is no peace in our hearts, if there is no peace in our families, if there is no peace in our society and in the world around us, in a world based on market economy, spirit of gratitude, dialogue, and solidarity should reign. Religions cannot but be vehicles of peace. Yes, peace awaits its prophets, and I see in Dr. Karad one of the living prophets of peace. This symbol stands as a witness to what he believes and how he brings people as simple as me together. Vision of peace releases energies for a new language of peace, for new gestures of peace, gestures which will shatter the fatal chains of divisions inherited from history. We cannot pretend to close our eyes to hatred, violence, and killings, because it is quite evident that peace, wherever it still exists, is continuously threatened. What is the appropriate cure to this hanging sword of hate speech which sparkles violence? So believers of all religions should keep coming together in favor of peace, or else our lack of coming together can be instrumentalized by forces of evil intentions to foment hatred, violence, and warlike situations. The paradox of our society is that on the one hand, people seek peace, while on the other hand, all suffer from the dire consequences of war and terrorism. In a globalized world, peace or conflict are no more locally containable forces. Globalization has been capable of unifying economy and trade, but not the hearts and minds of people. We need to live out and build a spiritual unification through ongoing dialogue, leaving no one in isolation, no one behind. Dialogue can disarm those who become violent, and dialogue can stop them, for violence only destroys. Religions are channels which can bring God's message of peace and love. Opposed to this, a violent person who instrumentalizes religion contradicts this truth of religions. A healthy atmosphere of plurality, which should by now be a fact of any civilized society, will not harm fidelity to one's own religious identity and will not present any aspects of indifferentism and apathy around us. The world needs peace as dearly as the world needs bread, in order not to be imprisoned by its past and by fear. We can overcome fear by our openness to one another, by our mutually expressed gratitude, and by our concrete gestures of solidarity. We have come together in the name of the humble and the poor of the earth. Ours is a great responsibility of bringing hope to those who seem to have lost it. We must do everything so that hopelessness and indifference do not prevail, for God's name is peace. Shalom, salam, shanti, Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words of wisdom. My friends, I mentioned to you earlier this morning that when we had the World Peace Prayer, it was really a very, very beautiful sight in which we saw all the religious leaders present here on the stage were holding hands and praying to the Almighty for the world peace. And now, I'm going to invite our next special guest of this session, the spiritual leader of Muslims in Azerbaijan and member of Muslim Council of the Elders, spiritual leader Honorable Sheikh Al-Islam Allah Shukur Parzadeh. My friends, he began his religious education in Lankaran and later pursued advanced studies in Uzbekistan, attending to the Mir-e-Arab Madrasa in Burkha and Tashkent State University, where he completed his religious education in 1975. Upon returning to Azerbaijan, he assumed several significant roles within the religious community, including acting secretary of Caucasus Muslim Office and leadership position at the Tazapir Mosque at Baku. In 1980, he was elected as the chairman of Caucasian Muslims Office and became Sheikh al-Islam, a position he had held for many years. Please put your hands together and welcome with a big round of applause, Sheikh al-Islam al-Shakur Parzadeh.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin ve ala alihi ve ashabihi ecma'in. Uca Yaradanın adıyla muhterem Cenab Kol Dirham, muhterem Subhane Amrita Şvari, Pananda Piri, Puri, değerli devlet, din, ilim ve içtimaiyet xadimləri. İlk növbədə Hindistanın G20 sədrliyi çərçivəsində 10-cu dinlərarası foruma dəvətə görə minnətdarlığımı ifadə edirəm. Pune forumunun iştirakçılarına Azərbaycan Respublikasının Prezidenti Cənab İlham Əliyevin salamlarını və Azərbaycan xalqının xeyir dualarını çatdırmaqdan şərəf duyuram. Allah Teala Quran-ı Şərifdə içərimizdə yaxşılığa çağıran, xeyirli işlər görməyi buyuran və pis əməllərdən çəkindirən bir cəmaat olmasını bizə tövsiyə etmişdir. Bugünkü görüşümüzdə məhz bu amalla milyonlarla insanları təmsil edən din xadimləri bir araya gəlmişlər. Qədim mədəniyyət məskanı, sivilizasiyalar məkanı Hindistan torpağında bugünkü forumun münaqişələrə, terrorizmə, zorakılığa, irqi və dini ayrı seçkiliyə son qoymağa çatdırılması, sülhi və əmin-amanlığı tərənnüm etməsi, bəşəri narahat edən qlobal ekoloji problemlərə diqqət ayırması təqdiri layiq haldır. Hörmətli forum iştirakçıları, biz din xadimləri həmrəy olaraq dindən siyasi məqsədlərlə sui-istifadə hallarının, terrorun, nifrətə çağırışın, ksenofobiyanın bütün təzahürlərini dini məbədlərə və inanclı insanlara qarşı törədilən ekstremist hərəkətləri qətiyyətlə pisləməli, dini rəmzlərin, müqəddəsliklərin təhqir olunması hallarına qarşı etiraz səsimizi ucaltmalıyıq. Necə ki, Roma Papası Fransisk və Əl-Əzhərin baş imamı Şeyx Əhməd Təyyib arasında Abu Dhabi'də imzalanmış insan qardaşlığına dair sənəddə Məkkə bəyannaməsində Beynəlxalq Müsəlman Ağsaqqallar Şurasının məramlarında dünya və ənənəvi dinlərin liderlərin Astana qurultayında dini liderlərin 2. Bakı samitində G20 dinlərarası forumlarının qəbul etdiyi bəyanatlarda bu məqamlar aydın təsbit olunur. Qəbul edilməlidir ki, təhlükə dindən deyil, dinin siyasiləşdirilməsi, din adından siyasi məqsədlər üçün sui-istifadə olunmasından irəli gəlir. Təəssüflə qeyd etmək istəyirəm ki, son zamanlar bəzi beynəlxalq dini təşkilatlar tərəfindən sülhə və asayişə xidmət etməyən xalqları qarşı durmaya təhrik edən, ardıcıl bir tərəfli mövqe tutan qərəzli təbliğat aparılmaqla dövlətlərin daxili siyasətinə müdaxilə edilməkdədir. Bu xüsusda vurğulamağı vacib sayıram ki, hər hansı siyasi prosesə qiymət verən bütün beynəlxalq təşkilatlar, o cümlədən dini qurumlar ədalətin yanında olmalı, həqiqətlərə əsaslanan məlumatlara üstünlük verməli və düzgün yanaşma nümayiş etdirilməlidir. Hörmətli forum iştirakçıları, müqəddəs Quran-ı Kərimdə buyurulur ki, yeryüzü islah olunduqdan sonra orada fəsad törətməyin. Bugünkü forumun əsas mövzuları olan iklim değişiklikleri, ekosistemin pozulması, gıda ve su çatışmamazlığı, muharibeler ve nüvə tehdidi her gün beşeriyeti, özellikle geleceğimiz olan uşaqların təbii, insani hüquqlarını tehdit edir. Aynı zamanda insanlar arasında tecavüze, zorakılığa ve ayrı seçkiliğe tahrik eden nifret çağrışları, muasir teknolojiler ve sosyal medya vasıtasıyla bütün dünyada geniş şebekeli sistem olarak global miqyasda müxtəlif ölkəlerde hərbi ve soyqırım cinayətlərinə şövq edir. Biz müharibə dəhşətlərini və fəlakətlərini yaşamışıq. 30 ilə yaxın qonşu Ermənistan tərəfindən hərbi təcavüzə məruz qalmış Azərbaycan xalqı öz prezidenti ətrafında sıx birləşərək beynəlxalq hüquq normalarına, BMT nizamnaməsinə və onun 4 qətnaməsinə əsaslanaraq Dünya Birliği tərəfindən tanınan ərazi bütövlüyünü bərpa etdi. Biz bugün işğal dövründə dağıdılmış milli, dini, mənəvi abidələrimizi bərpa edir, işğaldan azad edilmiş torpaqlarımızı minalardan təmizləyərək yenidən qurma işləri aparırıq. Qurur hissiyle diyebilirim ki temsil ettiğim Azerbaycan tolerantlıq, multikulturalizm diyarı olarak medeniyetler arasında diyalog ve səmərəli əməkdaşlıq imkanlarının yaradılmasında aparıcı müsbət rol oynayır. Azerbaycan'da din ve mezhep ayrı seçkiliğine yol verilmeden bütün dini icmalar beraber hukuklarla temin olunur, ibadet ve ayinlerini serbest şekilde icra edirlər. Bu bizim devletimizin milli siyaseti ve dini değerlere olan ehtiramın göstericisidir. Hörmətli forum iştirakçıları, dinler, sivilizasiyonlar arası diyalog ve əməkdaşlıq 21. əsrin vacib məsələsidir. Bugünkü tədbirin dünyada dinler arası əməkdaşlığın dərinləşməsi, sülhün ve əminamanlığın bərqərar olması naminə bütün təşəbbüslərini dəstəkləyir, Hindistan dövlətinə və xalqına tədbirin yüksək səviyyədə təşkili və qonaqpərvərliyiniz üçün minnətdarlığımızı ifadə edirik. Dua edirik ki, uca yaradan bütün xoş məramlarımıza ravad versin. Amin. Esselamu aleyküm ve rahmetullahi ve berekatuhu.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Islam Al-Dashur Parzadeh. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and words of wisdom with us. Now, we have yet another representation of Baha'i community on stage. Madam Marzia Dalal, I would like to request her to kindly address the gathering. Please put your hands together and welcome with a round of applause, Madam Marzia Dalal.
I hope I can be heard. Okay, thank you. On behalf of the Baha'i community of India, it's my honor to convey its regards and greetings to the organizers of today's forum and to all the distinguished guests who are present. I am speaking about the Baha'i faith, which is usually referred to as the world's most recent religion. In fact, it is. The Baha'i faith was established in the mid-19th century, in 1844. And those of us whose history is strong will know that mankind in the mid-19th century was rather primitive. And within 200 years, less than 200 years, we do not recognize the kind of history that we have evolved from. social order, human rights, certain acknowledged standards of living are now universally acceptable, and they are not considered to be privileges anymore. Which are a part of faith and religion that actually laid a very firm foundation for what we accept as normal human rights today. The Baha'i Faith was founded by a messenger of God, Baha'u'llah. It's a title, and it means the glory of God. The Baha'i Faith does not see itself as a separate or an isolated religion or movement. Rather, we see the Baha'i Faith as a part of an age-long process of the spiritual enlightenment and education of mankind. This process, we believe, has come from the creator of the universe, God, who we look upon as our parent, our most loving parent. And he has sent down to us, through recorded history and perhaps earlier, his message of guidance and education that has guided mankind to understand its reality. When I say reality, I'm actually referring to a reality that encompasses the faith and the conviction that life is not merely limited to this physical world alone. It is religions down the ages that have opened our mind to the fact that human beings are not just body, mind, and emotions. Human beings primarily are soul and spirit. And religion has taught us that this reality this mortal life. The principles of the Baha'i Faith have been very forward-looking. Today, a lot of them have been accepted. But when we look back at the state of the world in the mid-19th century, only then can we truly appreciate the advances that have been made in terms of the principles that were established and given by Baha'u'llah at the time. The primary principle of the Baha'i Faith is the unity of mankind. At a time when even the extent of our planet had not been fully discovered, the Baha'i community understood that it was created as a single entity, that mankind was one, always destined to be one. Indians are aware of the phrase Vasudeva Kutumbakam, which in a way has always turned our minds to the fact that mankind has a collective a collective reality. This unity today is understood by the Baha'i faith not to be something that separates us, but which brings us together. Barriers of language spoken, barriers of belief. Of course, diversities exist. Diversities are good. Diversities allow the human race to progress. But diversities have to be subjugated to an understanding of our essential unity. And when we speak of unity, can we forget the one half this day and age, man and women were equal. Equality does not imply equality of roles. It is so clear that only the woman was created to be the mother, to be able to bear and give birth to the children. But the Baha'i principles very clearly separate status from position. And therefore, men and women have different roles in society, less and less so, one must say, but it does not affect the inherent equality of the races. For this to happen, we have to remove prejudices from society today, ingrained prejudices, many of which are hidden. But they damage the fabric of society. And Baha'i communities everywhere are seeking to become involved in the life of society and bring us closer to a true equality and understanding of what we were created to be and what we need to aspire to be. Since we are at this gathering, I wish to say a last few words about the harmony of science and religion. Religion would degenerate into superstition if it wasn't for the sound reasoning of science. And the Baha'i faith appeals to people everywhere that religious faith is sacred, but it becomes a positive practical force when it is linked to science and scientific principles and understanding. And I would like to close this brief address today by reciting for you a small prayer from the Baha'i writings on unity. O my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor and grant them strength to of thy knowledge and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art their helper and their Lord. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Marzia Dalalji. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom. My friends, today we have the presence among us of Madam Pushpita Avasthiji, who is a renowned poet, author, and an ambassador of world peace. Recently, her book titled Ahimsa Swar, The Echo of Non-Violence, Please put your hands together and welcome with a round of applause Madam Pushpita Awasthi. Thank you very much. I would now like to request her to kindly address the gathering.
नमस्कार विश्व शांति के भक्तों और G20 के आराधकों, आप सब यहाँ एकत्रित जिस मिशन के लिए हैं, उस मिशन की शुरुआत जब ये वर्ल्ड पीस डोम बनना शुरू हुआ, उसके पहले से मुझे लगता है कि विश्व में G20 के लिए जो देश इससे पहले सक्रिय रहे हैं और भारत के बाद जो देश सक्रिय रहेंगे, उन सब की केंद्र स्थली पूना का ये वर्ल्ड पीस डोम बनेगा, क्योंकि G20 के जो गुणसूत्र हैं, जो आदर्श हैं, जो लक्ष्य है, उन लक्ष्यों को बताने के लिए जो विश्व के आराधक और चिंतक हैं, जिनकी मूर्ति आप इस कक्ष में भी, इस भवन में भी और इस भवन के बाहर भी आप देख रहे हैं, ये सिर्फ मूर्तियां नहीं हैं, ये चिंतक पुरुष हैं, ये विचारों के महापुरुष हैं, जिनके भीतर विश्व की शांति धड़कती है, जिसको उन्होंने शब्दों में संचित किया है। इन मूर्तियों के माध्यम से और आप सब साधकों के द्वारा जो शब्द विस्फोट हो रहा है, वही G20 में जो सूत्रात्मक रूप से जो बातें कही गई हैं, मुझे लगता है कि वो अपना स्वरूप ले सकेंगी। इस विश्व शांति डोम के बनने पर मेरे भीतर जो प्रभाव पड़ा, उसको लेके मैंने किताब लिखी, अहिंसा के स्वर, इको ऑफ नॉन वायलेंस। इस इको ऑफ नॉन वायलेंस में हार्ट बीटिंग ऑफ द नॉन वायलेंस है, हाउ टू क्रिएट इन योर हार्ट द पीस ऑफ हार्ट बीटिंग। ये सारे शब्दों के साथ मुझे लगता है कि हम सब एक सही रास्ते पर हैं। पिछले माह मोदी जी जब पेरिस में गेस्ट थे, अतिथि थे, तो वहाँ पेरिस के प्रेसिडेंट ने उनसे कहा और उन्होंने अपने वक्तव्य में कहा कि भारत के पास विश्व के विकास के सूत्र हैं, भारत के पास विश्व के विकास की है, कुंजी है। अब पूरा विश्व इसे स्वीकार और देखेगा, पूरा विश्व भारत की धार्मिक शक्ति की ओर देखेगा, क्योंकि भारत के पास जो धार्मिक शक्ति है उसमें विश्व के सभी धर्मों के गुणसूत्र हैं। उसमें सिर्फ एक धर्म नहीं बोलता है, विश्व के सारे धर्मों का अनहद नाद है भारत के धर्म में, भारत की शांति में, भारत के दर्शन में। भारत जब धर्म की बात करता है तो विश्व दर्शन की बात करता है, विश्व दृष्टि की बात करता है, जिससे हमारे और हम सब के विश्व गुरु विश्वनाथ कराड़ जी हैं। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं आप सबको धन्यवाद देती हूँ और मैं सोचती हूँ कि भविष्य में हम लोग G20 का जो सफल परिणाम होगा उसके साथ भविष्य में मिलेंगे। धन्यवाद।
Thank you very much, madam. With this, my friends, we are coming towards the conclusion of this inaugural session.